So the last thing that we're going to focus on in this edition of Your Inner Magic is, and we're just going to touch onto it as an inspiration to just get flowing. We've done so much with creating inner space. Yeah, we've done so much with releasing, and we've done so much with opening. And we also need to create space to receive, yeah, around us. So about creating outer space. And one of the big indicators about where we're at, I believe, is the amount of clutter we have in our homes and in our environment. It can often show us how much we're like stuck or still living in the past. Of course, everybody will have their individual takes on this. So this is an invitation for you to examine your situation around what does your outer space look like? Is there space to receive? Yeah. Are you holding on to things simply for the sake of holding on to them? What feelings are attached to your objects? And can you release the objects and keep what you want to keep in terms of feelings and release what you want to actually release and let go that is also still stuck in with these objects? So decluttering, I really believe decluttering is a really, really potent practice. And I think we all have that experience of, having cleared out something and just feeling so fresh and so open and so satisfied. And, there's space for new things to come in. So it can be really, really helpful to journal on what your clutter actually means. You might get really surprised. Spend some time, figuring out and journaling about your clutter. You could even try, if the channeling practice worked for you, if my channeling practice worked for you in module 2, you could even try channeling your clutter. Just refer to the document that you have in downloadable form in module 2 about my channeling practice and try that with your clutter. You might get really surprised at what you find out. And the thing about clearing out, if you're anything at all like me, like I had a phase in my life where I was going through a lot of transition. And I was actually leaving a place of being very stuck and going into something new. And for some reason, I couldn't, somehow all this clutter was building up, even though I really loved, I really love wide open space. And, but, I was just, there was a lot of chaos and it kind of wasn't clearing. And it was kind of weighing me down and I was feeling quite frustrated about it. But I somehow felt, and so I always had that end goal in mind of, I need the space to be clear, and it just wouldn't clear. And so one important thing to know or to note or to see for yourself about, decluttering is to maybe have that end goal in mind, but to also remember it's going to take you steps to get there, and remember the surrendering practice. So you don't want to overwhelm and get into this kind of thing. You want to step back and say, look, okay, this is my situation. This is what it's like. Let me journal about it and let me see what kind of steps I can take, baby steps that don't overwhelm me, that don't bring me into any kind of, back and forth, so that I can move forward with decluttering my life, so that I can receive more of what I actually want. So the way I ended up doing that, and it took me actually 3 years to understand that I just needed to change my steps. And so what I did, rather than, wanting the space clear and seeing all these piles and thinking I've got to get it all done today, was to really step back and not even break it down into, okay, I'll do this today and that like next week and that next week, but to just say, okay, my baby step is I'm going to dedicate 1 hour per week. That was my baby step. And it worked like magic. Yeah, so I ended up oftentimes doing more than 1 hour but it was really relieving for my system not to see those piles and feel, oh, you've got to get them done immediately. I was in this sort of back and forth, but to just say, yeah, 1 hour, I can handle that, I can manage that. And it was great. And that's how, step by step, of course, it was my background process. I was also processing other things over that course of time. But so that was really helpful. So see if that might be helpful for you if you want to start clearing your clutter and you have challenges with that. If maybe breaking it down into a number of hours or an amount of time per week or per whatever, so that you can start taking those baby steps to decluttering. Now, it's so important when you declutter to really acknowledge why these things are here. So to really feel into things that you're, pick them up and feel into them, and to sort what's my connection to this? And you might actually find yourself really holding on to relationships in these objects. So ask yourself, do I want to hold on to this relationship in this way? Or can I, hold on to the relationship if it's the relationship you want to keep in your heart? Where can I keep it? Can I put it in my heart and put the object away? Or do I really, really want this object? And then you put it somewhere where it no longer is clutter, but it's got its place. And this can be such a powerful practice. So I invite you to have a look and see what's the relationship with all your clutter, and whether it's time for you to start creating more outer spaciousness by releasing some of that clutter, and by giving the things that you really do want to keep in your home a place.